Hello everybody, welcome to today's episode of Mentorship. Remember the topic I was talking about the last time? Yeah. So this is going to be a part 2 of it. This is largely going to be about my personal experiences, and I'll be sharing some of my stories. I'll be giving some tips and all of that. And like I said the last time, I'm dedicating this video to young graduates or final year students who are about graduating and they need some guidelines on what to do or how to prepare for the workplace. And I said last time that one of the key things to look out for is or one of the things to help you prepare is the need for mentorship. I shared a story with you the last time. Mentorship is not something that is usually discussed. And like I said, it's a relationship you build with someone who is experienced in the career you have chosen. But you also need to be careful about who to choose as a mentor. So today, I'm only going to be limiting it to what I title, or the subtitle I want to put it, on servanthood or service to people. One thing I have noticed about youth of today, or most interns and NSPs or national service persons that come around, is the fact that most of them don't like to serve. And if you don't like to serve, how do you expect to get a recommendation? Like, I don't even understand you people. You know, when you're in school, they tell you all sorts of things. So you think that when you come out, I will not let anybody send me if it's not about the job. Last time I heard Nanaba say the same, nobody, and I will not allow anybody to send me. And if, no, it doesn't work, or it doesn't always work out like that. For you to get the correct mentor, you need to serve the person, okay? And sometimes the way it comes in, it's not always nice. I remember when I was doing my internship with Ghana East Commission, I would be in heels and I have to be ascending and descending the stairs, or if I have to use the elevator, I use it. Do you know what they were sending me to go and buy? Plantain. And I would be ascending and descending stairs to go and buy plantain. You come and the next person is telling you to go and buy plantain and go and buy food for me. And sometimes I understand it's frustrating, but this is how you build relationship with people. You have to apply wisdom, okay? There is a huge blessing in serving people, or there's a huge blessing in servanthood, but people don't usually see it, especially these Gen Zs or these I'm part of them, so maybe millennials, right? Millennials don't see it. And if you want to get the right mentor, you would first of all have to serve. The blessing is in the serving. In most companies, I don't know about, in most companies, I should say, someone would have to recommend you. You don't just go about and tell someone that you want them to mentor you. When you do that, people take advantage of you. So you find men trying to, harass you sexually and all of that, just because you try to get too close, because only you know the agenda you're carrying, and that agenda you're carrying, someone is also carrying a different agenda, or is translating differently to the person, especially if it's a man or it's the opposite sex. They are also seeing it differently. So if you're overly nice to the person, they are also seeing it differently. Okay, so let me backtrack for a moment. So assuming you apply for the job, or after your service, you completed school, of course, and you want to enter the corporate world, especially most of you would like to go into the private sector because that's where the money is. Yeah, the government institutions have they do pay well, although, but it's structured. Yeah, that's not to say that the private institutions don't have their structure. That is even more structured than the government institutions. But then they tend to pay more. They have better conditions of service, right? The most private institutions have better conditions of service. So that is where a lot of you people would want to go to. If it's a government institution, you want one that has better conditions of service. So assuming you have entered the company, now how do you scout for a mentor? So this is what you have to do. You have to tone down. You have to act as a fool, you understand? Even if you know more things than the people you came to meet, because maybe you have read wide, you have more experience and all of that, you still have to tone down. You don't want your immediate boss to feel intimidated by you. No. You don't want to give off the wrong vibe. Otherwise, when you do that, do you know what happens? You are sidelined. Nobody wants to interact with you. Nobody wants to get close to you because they already have some perception about you. So what you need to do is to tone down. Tone down in your dressing, tone down in your speech, tone down in most of the things you do. Just have some decorum about you. In everything that you do, just survey the environment first and then know how to relate with each and every one. Because let me tell you something. The moment there are new people in there, the workers or the employees, especially the ladies, how should I even say this? Like an alarm goes off in their head. Like, so they are recognizing threats. That is how it's seen. Especially when you come in and you're beautiful, or you're a guy and you're handsome. Immediately, those people in there or the workers in there, they see you as a threat. You haven't even opened your mouth yet and you're already seen as a threat. So when you come in, you're already driving. That's even more threat. You come in and you speak well, another threat. You come in and you know some big people. That one there, don't even go there. You are even more of a threat than anything. Do you understand? So people would tend to be careful around you. It's not everything they would want to let you in on. And that is not what you want. So when you come in, you need to tone down. Even if you know big people in the company, even if your father is the CEO of that company, don't let everybody know that. Don't go rubbing it in people's faces. Otherwise, whatever treatment they will give you, you won't like it. You either have fake friends or you have people just ignoring you. And that's not what you want, because you're there to learn. You get it? You don't know anything. You just came. So even the security man in there knows more about the company than you do, or knows more about the things that they do in there than you do. Even if your father is the CEO. You have to start to learn from scratch. And that is why I am speaking about service to people. As part of the service, they will send you. In the government institutions, it's even disgusting. They will send you to buy food. They will send you to do chores that's under normal circumstances. You're even from a rich home. You know that you are even richer than this person and they're sending you. That's the only time they will get to do that. But in the process, they'll be teaching you things. In the process, you get to learn attitudes. You get to learn how the work is done. Because, mind you, it's not just about learning on the job. You also learn people who are doing the job. So you know how to relate with people. You're able to identify key personalities who has power. The last time I mentioned that, or was it in this video? So I was telling somebody, it's usually not the CEO that has power. When you go to every company, there is a hierarchy. Every company that has proper systems in place, is a system that runs the company. So even if the CEO is not around, it's still running. The company is still running without the CEO. But there are certain key people in each company who are or who wield certain amount of power. And sometimes the CEO, things just go to them and they sign. They don't even know what is going on down there. So you have to look out for your immediate boss. Your immediate boss will have to write a recommendation. Your immediate boss would have to write a recommendation letter for you. You have to look out for your boss. In fact, even before your immediate boss and the HR, your immediate supervisor or your colleagues, your senior colleagues would have to put in a word for you that's this, because they are the ones going to be working with you directly. So if I'm sending you and you're telling me you won't go and that you're only here to learn. There was one intern that I had, true story, like no lies. Apparently her mother works with BOG, and you give her work and she'll tell you straight up, in my mother's company they don't do this in my mother's company. I said, look, you are not in your mother's company. Over here, this is what we do. There's nothing else you can do besides what I'm giving you to do. So it's either you sit down and do it, or you go to your mother's company. It's as simple as that. But nobody's going to pamper you here. So you need to so imagine someone like that. Do you think I'll put in a word for that person? Because if I'm your direct supervisor and you're already giving me this attitude, do you think that I will put in any recommendation for you? No. Your manager doesn't work with you directly, or your manager will not be working with you directly. It is first of all your colleagues, your senior colleagues, who will be working with you. Except the role you've been given to play, you have to directly work with the manager. Otherwise, it is your senior colleague who would have to put in a word for you. Then the manager would have to write a recommendation letter for you. After the manager has written the recommendation letter, it goes to the HR. So when it goes to the HR, now they decide if this person's recommendation letter should go to the board, or if one of a higher authority should look at it. I didn't know this, and this really cost me. It cost me like 1 year after my service. I had to work in another company because on the last day I disobeyed my boss. Yeah, I didn't go to work because it was a Monday, and a Tuesday, that would be it. So I thought, okay, let me just not go. And it cost me a whole year before I was called back. And that was a punishment for me. So I had to learn the hard way. I didn't know my immediate manager had to put in a recommendation letter for me before I would be even considered. But here is the case where you, who thinks you are all that, you come in and they even send you and you don't want to go. Do you know the power these people have? Do you know the power your senior colleagues have? So you have to tone down. Don't put yourself in a situation where you will be a threat. Because naturally, some people are just likable. If you're like me, we are not easily likable, because at first glance, people already don't like you like that. So you have to win their love bit by bit. And the only way you can do that is through service to them. So I'm going to leave this here because I don't want the video to be too long. So I'll just end it here. But in the next episode, in the final episode, I'm trying to just limit it to a 3-part series. So in the final episode, I'll tell you why I said it's not always your boss that is the right person to mentor you. And I'll tell you, or I'll give you some guidelines on how to choose the right mentor. Sometimes your mentor may end up envying you. Think about that. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.